What is up? What is up? Welcome back to another NFL Rundown brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm joined today by Tyler Hicks. And Tyler, we got quite the NFL weekend coming up. We got a great game tonight, two games on Christmas, and then, of course, the full slate on Sunday and Monday. So here's what I was thinking, Tyler, because, a lot of people do watch the show late. Let's do the Thursday Night Football at the last. So for people who listen to it tomorrow, right, they can just shut off the video then. So we're going to do Thursday Night Football at the end of today's show. We're going to do the rest of it right now. So that's the plan. How you doing, Tyler?
I'm good. I got to watch you and JSU break down the NBA while I got ready with these NFL notes. Now we're going to give out some winners in NFL.
Yeah, that was a fun show, Tyler. You got a lot to live up to, right? JSU and I always going back and forth. But of course, as I warned everyone, you were going to be doing the heavy lifting today, as I spent a lot of time on the NBA this week. And I mean, how could you not, as you're like learning these players' names and figuring out which junior college they went to. But in the NFL, a little more clear what we're dealing with. So let's attempt to break this down. The Cleveland Browns are plus 7.5. They're heading to Green Bay to take on the Packers. Packers minus 7.5, total 45.5. I'm assuming we're not going to see any more Nick Mullins, right? Should be Baker Mayfield back. Some of these other players should be coming off protocols as well. Will be a short week for the Browns there, right? From Monday to Saturday. So that's got to be a slight disadvantage. Of course, the Packers are playing well. The Packers 6-0 against the spread so far at home this season. What do you think, Tyler? Did they make it 7-0 ATS this year?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're going to win this game. I think they win it by a touchdown. Mm-hmm. Now, I think Cleveland's going to put up a fight here because they do have playoff implications in this game. They win. They're still fighting for the division in a wild card spot. Right. So they're not going to go out easy. Even if they do start like a guy like Nick Mullins, they're going to try and run through this Green Bay defense, which has shown holes the last couple of weeks. So I kind of like that over 45.5 because I could see Green Bay putting up points against this Cleveland defense. And I could also see Nick Chubb putting up some points for the Cleveland Browns. So favorite look in that game's at over 45.5.
Yeah,
but we could pencil this in spread as our first teaser leg, Green Bay down to 1.5.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all because so originally I looked at this game, right? Do my quick numbers, real simple model. So they seem to like Cleveland. I also thought the matchup kind of favored Cleveland, right? Cleveland's a tough team. They can run the ball, shorten it, right? Going against that Green Bay rush defense. Let's be honest, has been much better than previous years, but still Nick Chubb can get it done against anybody. But boy, these trends are crazy with how good Green Bay's been against the spread at home. I mean, I think every single one of those wins has been by double digits except for one, right? So they've won 5 of their 6 games at home so far. By 10 points or more. They're not messing around at Lambeau. So I think I'll join you there. So you think I should just start this teaser right now and just throw the Packers in there?
Yep, we'll start the teaser with the Packers for this week.
All right, let's go. So we got the teaser, and you like the over 45.5. Remember, guys, you're going to be available for props tomorrow, though, right? Even though it's Christmas Eve?
Yeah, I'll be available.
Yeah, so we're going to do props tomorrow, so that's why we're just doing the sides and the totals right now. I just wanted to make sure before I gave
might be a little earlier time than normal, but I'll be available. We'll get the show done.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and we're also going to be doing the Christmas Day breakdown for the NBA tomorrow because no rundown on Christmas. The Indianapolis Colts are +1 heading to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. The Cardinals at -1. This was a pick 'em earlier. Arizona's taking money. Why, Tyler? Why? Arizona can't even beat Detroit. Am I making this too simple? My idea, the Indianapolis Colts, they've got a great defense and they can run the ball. No J.J. Watt. This Arizona Cardinals rush defense hasn't been the same. I think their passing defense is better than their rush defense. Hey, if I'm the Colts, that's fine with me. Let's let Jonathan Taylor eat and take this one to the house. I think the Colts are the more complete team. Obviously a little bit worried on the road, but playing in Arizona is not like playing in Buffalo or Green Bay. I like the Colts here. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough one for me. Just instant reaction when I look at this game. It's like, give me the Colts, the hot team coming in. Right. Cardinals can't stop the run. But then you think about it, it's like this is kind of like a buy low, sell high spot. You get Arizona at pretty much their worst. The Colts are riding high. They've won, almost, I think it's like 6 or 7 in a row. They're rolling. They're off a big win against New England. Give me Arizona here to win this game spread.
All right. So yeah, we're on opposite sides. And then my final
I've called
point for the
Arizona a fraud all year, but I think this
yeah,
is
and then we backed
game.
them last week too, and then they didn't
Yep.
get done. And what to me was the big reason they're not getting it done. I think Kyler Murray really needs DeAndre Hopkins. He's that kind of safety blanket, the guy that he can go to on third down, the guy that he can go to for big plays. And I think it's too easy to key on the other weapons without Hopkins in there. You know, Rondale Moore, we've been real excited about him, right? But you can't pepper him with 10 or 15 targets, right? He's got to be the gadget guy, the change of pace guy. Christian Kirk, great down the field, but what else does he really do? I don't trust him to work underneath either. You know, I guess I can go to AJ Green, but boy, you know, as the DFS guys like to say, dusty roads there with AJ, not always the best performance there. So we will see who is right on Christmas night as that one finishes up. The total 49.5. Did you have any thoughts on that one, Tyler?
Small lean to the over, but if the Colts get a hold of this game and they're just running it down their throat, they might not leave enough time for the Cardinals to put points on the board. So pretty much a stay away from the total.
All right, I can see that. Let's go on to Sunday. So everyone's going to be waking up day after Christmas, playing with their new toys. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are -10, heading to Carolina. Panthers are +10. Maybe not a new toy, but a favorite toy for Tom Brady. Is Antonio Brown going to be back in the lineup here for the Buccaneers?
Yeah, he'll be back.
Yeah, and then they needed him, right? Because we saw the reason that Tom went to Tampa Bay, right? He had all those weak receivers in New England. Doesn't looking like a very good QB, right? He goes down to Tampa. You give him some of the best receivers in the league. He is back to being an MVP candidate. We took those away last week, and he couldn't even score a point against the New Orleans Saints. Tyler, how are you approaching this game?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to lay the 10 points here against the Panthers because, yeah, the Tampa Bay is getting some offensive weapons back. We're not sure if Evans is going to play, but I think he'll give it a go. You'll have Ronald Jones and a dusty Le'Veon Bell in the backfield. So that's going to be a weird one. But the spot I like in this game spread, just give me the under. Tampa Bay's defense is playing better. Mm-hmm. Carolina can't really put up points. This got like a 20-3 written all over it for me.
How about a Carolina team total under?
I don't hate that either. Let's see what the number is.
Want to make it simple?
16. That's a bit short, though.
That is. That's a tough one. But I'll tell you what, I don't think I would mind just splitting my unit. Rather, you know, I think I would do half on Carolina and the other half on the just the total under for the game. Any more thoughts on that one before we move on?
No, I mean, we'll definitely find some props in that game, but nothing. I don't really want to lay 10 with the Tampa team. They should win this
on
game.
The road, too.
Yeah. After what happened, they should win this game. They should blow them out, but we could see weird things in this game. So,
I mean, haven't we been saying that for a little while now? I mean, haven't they lost like 3 of their last 4?
I think they lost the Washington
check.
game, and then they haven't lost since the Washington game up until the Saints game.
No, yeah, you're right. So they were on a 4-game winning streak going into that one, but they had a 2-game losing streak before that. One of them again to New Orleans. So yeah, you were right. Excuse me. I stand corrected. You know, they lost 2 in a row. Washington was the second one in a row. Boy, that was a disappointing performance. Then they reel off 4 in a row, including that impressive overtime win over Buffalo. Then they lose 9-0 against Buffalo. Something like the first time Brady had been shut out at home since like 2007 or something like that.
It was, yeah, it was. I think they said it was 2006, and Nick Saban was the coach of the Dolphins when that happened.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Nick Saban, great NFL great, Nick Saban. The New York Giants are +10 heading to Philadelphia. The Eagles laying 10 points on a total of 40.5. Tyler, is it finally Jake Fromm season?
I mean, I would say so, but I just don't want anything to do with this Giants team spread. They're pretty bad at this point in the year. They should just book it in and just call it quits. Philly's kind of fighting for the playoff spot. 10's a lot to lay here. Their defense gave up a pretty good amount of points to Washington last week.
Right.
The Giants in a division game, I think they'll fight. Give me that over 40.5.
All right. I like that. Yeah. And yeah, we'll see how the Eagles get it done. And I can't wait to hear how you're going to navigate those props, right? With all the different running backs that the Philadelphia Eagles field.
Speaking of that, we talked about it on, what was that game, Tuesday night? How we didn't want anything to do with that backfield. I mean, you've seen it. Miles Sanders ran for 110 yards.
Yeah.
Didn't get in the end zone because Jalen Hurts poached them both. You had other guys taking rushes too. So it's like, that's the main reason why I want to stay away from them backfields where they just run a carousel back there.
Yeah, it definitely is a tough one to attack from a props perspective, but we're going to put you to the test tomorrow on that. The Los Angeles Chargers -10 head into Houston. to take on the Texans. The first 3 games on Sunday morning will have a 10-point spread. The total is 45.5. Talk to me about the Chargers and the Texans. Texans season's almost over, and they got to win against the Jaguars. What does that really mean? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, in this one, I kind of like the Chargers away team total at 28.5. Or actually, it's a flat 28. I think they're just going to put up points against this Houston team, even if Eckler doesn't play. They're fighting for a playoff spot. They want to keep that solidified. So I definitely think they win this game. And I think their defense is good enough to give Houston some troubles. If any of these -10 is going to cover spread, I think it's the Chargers.
Yeah. So, hey, we know the Chargers have problems stopping the run. Do you think that was going to pop up in this game?
No, I mean, Houston can't really run the ball. With Rex Burkhead and guys like that, I don't see them.
What do you mean? They traded for David Johnson.
He's out, I believe.
I know. I'm just messing around. Because I've been talking about that DeAndre Hopkins so much, and it just keeps going in my mind that they traded him for David Johnson and a second-round pick. Probably the worst trade of the millennium in the NFL. Detroit Lions coming off a win, 30-12 over the Arizona Cardinals. What a win. Everybody was happy. Goff's girlfriend was still beautiful. Atlanta Falcons -5.5 at home. Totals 43.5. Falcons have a slim playoff hopes. Lions are just trying to get it done, not avoid themselves some more embarrassment. How are you approaching this one?
I see a 6 on this. You have a 5.5. If you can get the 6, make this the second leg of our teaser and just tease them down to win the game. Just like you said, they're still fighting for a playoff spot. Detroit's coming off of a big win. They celebrated the hell out of that win. Yeah. I think Atlanta's going to win this game here. They need it more than Detroit does. Tease them down to just win the game with Green Bay, and I like that.
Second part of our teaser. There we go. Tyler's. Yeah. So wonder if they're putting that 5.5 to keep all the Wong guys. Although I don't know, 6-0 is not technically a Wong, right? A Wong's got to go through 7 and 3.
Yeah.
But I like the 6-0 a lot when we're teasing. So Tyler said the second half of our teaser is going to be the Atlanta Falcons. The Baltimore Ravens are +3. They're heading to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. The Bengals -3. Tyler, I wrote about this game earlier. I even reached out to you and said, hey, I think this is a really tough one, right? Because you have the up-and-coming Bengals versus, the old guard of the AFC North, and that's the Baltimore Ravens. Consistently good, consistently a tough team. And at this point, I'm not even really worried about who's the quarterback. I thought Huntley played pretty well. Normally with Lamar's out, you'd think it'd be a huge downgrade. I would say he's probably only worth 2 points at this point, the way that Huntley played. Fun fact, Huntley, first Ravens quarterback in history to rush for 2 touchdowns and throw for 2 touchdowns in the same game. Thought for sure Lamar would have done that at some point, but he has not. Do we even know the starter in this game?
We don't yet. I mean, to be honest, I don't think it really matters. I've talked about it before. Everyone's always like Lamar Jackson's this key piece. You can't lose him out of this offense. Mm-hmm. The offense is built to be ran by a running quarterback. You look at his backups, Tyler Huntley, Trace McSorley.
Yeah.
Neither are very, very good, but they both run the same kind of play style as Lamar. So they just plug them right in, and the offense just keeps going the same way it was. It doesn't throw a wrench in it. You're not putting a pocket passer out there. So, I mean, this game's tough. Since he's coming off a win against Denver, Baltimore needs a win, but they play that weird analytics game we talked about on Monday where they just want to go for 2 every time. So small lean to the Bengals here. I think they'll just torch that secondary with the receivers they have. Chase has been quiet. I think this is a big game for him. So I think Cincy wins and covers.
Yeah, and we talked about it when you were helping me write that article. And it's not that the Ravens did a bad job stocking their secondary in the offseason. It's like the 49ers, who we'll talk about later today. All their guys just got hurt, right?
Yep.
And I talked about this hanging out with Holden and Coop yesterday on the Picking Winner show on the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel. And I said, the cornerbacks are tough to find because, number one, each team carries 5 to 7. And number two, any guy who has the skills, the lateral quickness and that ability, why not just go play point guard, right? Get to the paint, draw some fouls, let everyone tell you how good you are rather than having to cover the likes of Devontae Adams and DK Metcalf. So I do like the Bengals' ability there to attack a weakened Baltimore secondary. I'm with you on the Bengals. The Los Angeles Rams, this line moved. It's 3.5 now. It was 3 earlier in the week. I agree with the market. Give me the Rams. They're heading to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Plus 3.5, 48.5. Tyler, we talked about it on, I think it was just on our kind of impromptu NFL segment on the NFL rundown or the NBA rundown on Tuesday, right? But the Vikings had no business covering that game against the Bears. And the only reason they did is because the offense is so inept and Justin Fields just isn't ready yet. That's not going to be the case this week going against the high-powered offense. I think the Rams get right here. What's your thought?
I agree. And that line move is pretty much based on Dalvin Cook being ruled out. He's out 10 days with COVID. So you're going to have, I believe Madison might be the starting running back. If it's not him, you're going to have a weird guy in there. So give me the Rams here, spread. They need the game more. They're going to force Kirk Cousins to throw the ball, which we all know how that's going to go. He's going to throw a pick in this game to Ramsey. So I think the Rams cover and win this game.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Minnesota did not look impressive against Chicago, and we don't want to read too much into that, right? Because we always know that in those divisional games, even like if you're terrible for the season, you give your division rivals some trouble. So I don't want to look into it that much, but the Rams are just going on the right path, and Cooper Kupp, quietly, right? They talk about Jonathan Taylor for MVP. Why not Cooper Kupp? Those numbers are just insane. He already has like 122 catches on the year, like 1,300 yards. We got three more games to go. Yeah. What a great player he's been and what a connection that he and Matt Stafford have. Our total's 48.5. What are your thoughts?
I partial lean to the over just because I think the Rams are just going to be able to put up points in bunches against this team. And the Vikings should be able to score some late garbage time points. So I kind of like that over. I think you could see the Rams getting up into the high 30s and then the Vikings getting to the 20s and it gets you into the 50s. So I like that over.
Cheers to our guy Walla Walla Dose, who encouraged me to put the hashtags in the title, and we're hoping that you are enjoying some fine beverages over this Christmas weekend. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Reminder, this is brought to you by Run Pure Bets. Give a like to the video, subscribe to the channel, and head on over to runpurebets.com. Become a member by using the promo code BETS25 off. Jacksonville Jaguars +1 heading to New York to take on the Jets. Boy, so this is fun, right? The number 1 pick versus the number 2 pick, right? And it's two really good prospects with below average teammates, right? The Jets fell short against the Dolphins, but at least they put up a fight, right? Last week they lost 31-24 to the Dolphins. Then you look at the Jaguars, right? And I got to give you props. We were opposite there, and you got it right. I said, hey, they're going to be so excited that Urban Meyer's gone. You're going to see the best that this team has to offer. And you said, no, even the best this team has to offer is terrible. And you were right as they lose 30-16 to the Texans. What are your thoughts on this one?
This one's tough because you look at the Jets COVID report. You have guys like Oliveira Tucker, who's a key lineman on their line, Elijah Moore, who's a great wide receiver, the corner Michael Carter. You also have the head coach on this list. So it's a weird game, but Jacksonville's so bad spread. If I'm pinning down a bet in this game, just give me the Jets.
Yeah, let's not spend too much time on it. Any thoughts on the total, 41?
Small lean to the over because I could just see turnovers turning into points in this one, and 41's really short.
I'll be really interested to see who takes over that job, and I really want Trevor Lawrence to be good. So hopefully, they get the right guy for the job because they definitely, swing and a miss on their first try. Buffalo Bills are +2.5 heading to New England to take on the Patriots. Tyler, rematch of a couple weeks ago on Monday Night Football where they played in a gale storm or a windstorm. I don't know the proper word, right? But it was windy as all get out. Took the Bills a little while to realize the reason they drafted Josh Allen, right? The guy could throw through the wind. If there's any quarterback that could have thrown in those conditions, it was Josh Allen. It seemed like they were getting things going once that they actually, trusted the kid and let him work. I don't know how much we can take from that game into this one because of the conditions, except for one thing, Tyler. In that game, they knew the run was coming, right? I mean, put 11 in the box, right? I mean, Mac Jones was not going to throw that ball, and they still couldn't stop the run. I mean, even though it won't be windy, I mean, like, how is that different? How much do you expect the Patriots to run? How do you expect this game to play out? Does it look different? I think the Patriots' offense will look the same. I think the big difference will be on the Bills' ability to go against that New England Patriots defense. What are your thoughts?
I mean, looking back at that game that they played where they just ran it down their throat spread, the numbers say they had effectiveness running the ball, but when you look at the stats, Damian Harris, 10 attempts, 111 yards and a touchdown. He also had a long of 64 yards. He doesn't bust that long run. Rushing looks a little bit worse. Ramondre Stevenson, 24 attempts, 78 yards. He averaged 3.3 yards a carry. Now, that's nice, but on 24 attempts, you're not getting 24 attempts in this game. We seen the media ask the Bills players dumb questions after that game about being disrespected. Give me the Bills +2 in this one spread. They're going to come out.
All right.
They're going to put their foot on the gas and go at 100 miles an hour, and they're going to force Mac Jones to throw them back into this game if they want to win.
Yeah, and that's the thing. As the Patriots showed in their loss on Saturday to the Indianapolis Colts, this is not a team built to come from behind, okay? And so they need to really follow that script and get a lead. Bills have a much better chance of getting off to a good start. You're not worried at all about the Patriots' home field advantage at Gillette Stadium?
No, I'm not. Not in this matchup after what just happened 2 weeks ago. You know they penciled this in. They got their tune-up game last week. They're coming in with fire this week.
All right. Total's 43.5. Any thoughts?
Small lean to the over, but pretty much going to stay away from the total.
All right, let's move on. Chicago Bears. There's only 2 games in the afternoon.
3.
What do they do?
Which one are you missing?
I must be missing one. So I'll do the 2 that I got on my board, and you can tell me the third. Chicago Bears are +6. Heading to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Seahawks are -6. Total's 43. Before we go into that, I didn't miss any morning games, did I?
No.
Okay, good. All right. Sorry about that. I usually just go off bookmakers, so that way when Tyler gives the picks, I can just bet them right now, and I don't have to worry about forgetting later in the week. So I'm going off bookmaker. Apparently, one of these games is not on the board, but the Chicago Bears at +6 are. Man, that Bears team looks terrible, Tyler. I don't know how you can take them. I just don't know how you.
Yeah, but are you taking Seattle -6.5? Because they're just as bad.
Okay, I'm not betting this game, but like in a pick'em pool, yeah, I'll take Seattle. I'm not betting on the Bears for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean it's in Seattle. This game pretty much like if the Jets and the Jags weren't a stay away spread, this is the stay away game. Like the spreads.
Stay away with your eyes too. Don't even watch this.
Yeah, it's 6.5 to where like the Jets and the Jags are a pick'em game. So you kind of get good value on either side you take. You're not going to feel that anyway. You damn sure don't want to lay 6.5 with a Seattle team that can't win a game this year. And taking 6.5 for the Bears just doesn't feel like enough. So I'm just going to stay away from that game completely.
Yeah, I got no problem with that. Total 43. Any thoughts there?
Small lean to the under.
All right. I'm wearing the sweatshirt. The Las Vegas Raiders. They host the Denver Broncos. It's a pick 'em. The total's 41. Tyler, I'm not even going to bother to break down the Raiders. I don't know what's going on with my favorite team. Probably a little too emotionally involved. They've had a crazy season. What are your thoughts?
I don't care who is playing quarterback for Denver in this game. The Raiders can't stop the run, and Denver's bringing 2 running backs in. You're giving me at a pick 'em price. Give me Denver to win this game.
All right.
Pretty much simple breakdown of that one.
Hey, there's no reason. I mean, we don't have to act like everything is rocket science here, right? You can't stop the run. The Broncos can get it done. I'll tell you what, Drew Lock looks pretty bad, though. If I make this back, I'd much rather have Teddy Bridgewater back there.
Oh, I agree. I'd much rather have Teddy, but all he's got to do is hand the ball off to Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. I feel like they'll do enough to get this job done.
Yeah, you're probably right. That Raiders team really falling apart. It'll be interesting to see. It seems like they need to shake up the whole thing. New GM, new head coach. It's only too bad we can't get a new owner.
And the Raiders are off an emotional win. Yeah, Denver wins this game.
All right, let me just go to just CBS so I can see what the last game that they left off.
It's Pittsburgh and the Chiefs.
Oh, your guys. I actually wrote about this game.
Yeah, and the spread's down to 7.5 in the Chiefs' favor, and the total's at 45.
Does that spread drop make you think that Kelsey Hill or Chris Jones is going to miss? Because
they're all 3 on the COVID list.
Yeah, but isn't it like if you're vaccinated, you just need to pop like a negative and you're good to go?
You got to pop two straight negatives within, I think it's 48 hours. So you have to get one day and one the next day. So the moment.
So we should know on Saturday, right?
Yeah, the moment Saturday morning rolls around, guys don't test negative, they ain't playing.
Okay.
But I mean, looking at this spread, like this is a game nobody wants to take Pittsburgh. Chiefs are rolling. They're missing their weapons. I'd hate to do this spread, but like Pittsburgh does this weird thing where they're going to fight and try and get this playoff spot. Give me the 7.5 and sprinkle the money line here.
Yeah, I originally liked the Chiefs there, and when I wrote it up, I do like the Chiefs, but you made a good point. And I also wrote that I felt that my Chiefs pick was really contingent on Chris Jones being able to play. And my idea is if he plays, man, and he's getting in that backfield, I don't really know how the Steelers are going to score, right? Like Ben's no longer mobile. They have good receivers, but a lot of times it doesn't even hit them when they get open. And that offensive line is really
It's
bad.
bad.
So I don't know how they would stop Jones. If Jones is in there, I might consider laying it. But boy, you make some great points there. And
would it surprise you if this game's similar to how the Tennessee game went against Pittsburgh last week?
No.
Like Pittsburgh just hangs around. All of a sudden, they cause a couple turnovers. They score some points they shouldn't have, and they're winning the game. It's like, oh shit, here we go.
And Tomlin's looking like a badass on the sidelines. Yeah, I could
chewing his gum, doing absolutely nothing.
He's being a CEO, a leader of men, inspiring them.
You would hate our group chat during all Steeler games. My buddies are like, "Yeah, look at Tomlin over there, just chewing his gum,
just chewing his gum, just being a Super Bowl champion." I love me. Yeah, I love Mike Tomlin. Right? Washington football team plus 10.5. They're heading to Dallas to take on the Cowboys minus 10.5. 46.5 here. Do we know what's going on with this Washington team? Because how do you kids say it? Garrett Gilbert ain't it?
Yeah, Garrett Gilbert's definitely not it. But looking at this game, I mean, they just played this matchup recently. Dallas looked like they were going to control the game or run away with it, and then here came Washington to squeak it back in. Mm-hmm. Do you know what we've seen a lot of in that game spread? Points. Give me the over.
I think I turned it off, so you have to tell me.
we got a lot of points in that game late after you turned it off, so give me the over here.
Okay, and I don't mind that at all, and that should be a fun one. It's on Sunday night. The over that you like is 46.5, so get that now. Don't let it get to 47. I think I like it much better at 46.5. Did you have anything else on that game before we sign off?
Nope, nothing else on that one. We'll just get into Thursday night's matchup.
That's right. So, but let's just do a best bet for Saturday and Sunday first, and then we'll do Thursday night. So,
Saturday and Sunday. I say that teaser is probably our best bet.
Let's give the people one pick, though. Just one game, one side, or one total.
Bills money line plus 112.
Oh, I like it. Boy, that might move to 3.5. Otherwise, I just love the Rams. Yeah, I'll take the Rams, though. We both agreed on that one, and I'll add that one in as my best bet. Let's talk about tonight, Tyler. You told me right before we fired up, A.J. Brown's in. I had originally said if A.J. Brown played, I wanted to take the Titans. I wanted to grab the points at home. But with half the offensive line, I mean, I guess 40%, right? But 2 of the 5 starters out on the left side. I don't know if I can still do it. Talk to me about this game.
Yeah, I mean, when you told me the offensive linemen were out and I seen the name of who the offensive lineman is.
Yeah, Taylor Lewan and Roger Saffold.
When he went out earlier in the year for Tennessee, they looked like they were in shambles. Ryan Tannehill's going to have a hell of a day running from these guys tonight. I know San Fran's riding high, and this is similar to that Colts-Cardinals game we talked about earlier. Buy low, sell high. Mm-hmm. I got to take the 49ers in this spot with the way Tennessee's banged up. Even with those guys coming back, it wouldn't surprise me to see A.J. Brown go out there, play a couple snaps, right back to the bench. Same thing with Julio. We've seen that all year.
I don't even factor in Julio on my handicap anymore.
Yeah, he's just a name. So small lean to the 3.5. The total, I kind of like the over. But at the same, it's like one of them games. Like I could see it going over. I could also see the path for it going under. So probably just going to stay away from the total. And then looking at the props, I see they have, where is his prop at? Deebo Samuel's rushing plus receiving yards, 84.5. We know the dude's going to take 5 to 6 rushes. If he busts one for 20 plus yards and catches us a couple balls and gets us up into the 60s, that's going to look like a great play. So I like that over 84.5.
Wait, is that combined?
Yeah, combined.
Okay, yeah, because I was thinking that's like a ridiculously high total for rushing.
Nope, that's combined. His rushing.
Oh, I love that. I love that. There's certain games where he's got like 18 rushes and only 3 targets. So I love the fact that you're mitigating. You don't have to worry about where he's lining up. Anytime he touches the ball, it's working towards that prop.
Yep. And then the other ones I were looking at were George Kittle's anytime touchdown at plus 140. Because red zone, he's just a target. The dude catches it anywhere inside the red zone. It's going to take 3 guys to bring him down. God forbid he falls in the end zone for us. And then you could do the anytime touchdown score and the team wins. I don't hate doing Deebo at plus 180 or even going to Kittle at plus 240.
Interesting. Who do you like more out of those two? I think they both have about the same chance. So I would lean towards Kittle, I guess, but maybe Debo does have a slightly higher chance. Who do you think?
I slightly lean more towards Kittle in this matchup just because Debo's doing a lot more damage with touchdowns. You got to think once they get close, it's going to be like, all right, cut him off, make somebody else beat us.
All right. Tyler, you gave me a great idea, though. I think that Julio Jones and Anthony Davis should start a physical therapy center together, right? I mean, if there's any two guys that spend more time on the injured reserve list, it's those two. So that's a lot of fun. So you like the San Francisco 49ers tonight?
Yes. I'll give out some first touchdowns in that game, too, for everyone because I know they love those.
Everyone loves first touchdowns.
All right. I know it's going to be tough. We're going to leave Debo off the board because I want to get some long shots in here because Thursday nights we've seen some wild stuff happen.
Yeah, we have, haven't we?
So we'll plug in one name that we should see early, George Kittle, plus 750.
I like that.
On the other side, we're going to take a guy like Ryan Tannehill, 15-1, because we've seen him tuck and go to the outside.
Especially with the lack of weapons, right?
Yep. Long shot on the San Fran side spread. Kyle Juszczyk, 32-1.
Juice. All right.
They get down close to the end zone and they can't pound it in. They can't throw it in. Watch the fullback get involved in that play. And then the other one I was looking at would have been Michael Pruitt at 27-1. He gets a lot of red zone targets also. If Tennessee gets down there first, I could see him catching one.
All right. There are your first touchdown bets. Tyler, anything else for the people before we sign off?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Well, guys, thank you, everybody, for watching. Just a reminder, the show is brought to you by Run Pure Bets. Head on over to runpurebets.com. Use the promo code BETS25 off to become a member. Like the video, subscribe, share with your friends. The schedule for tomorrow, I haven't confirmed with AP, but I'm doing an NBA rundown regardless. There's no NBA tomorrow, but I'll be doing the Christmas games tomorrow because I won't be available to do it on Christmas, of course. So we'll do the preview for the Christmas games tomorrow for the NBA rundown. And then Tyler and I haven't figured out the time yet. So that's why, hey, usually we're pretty good about this, but what a better time to be subscribed. You'll get notified when we go live because, we went over the sides and totals today, but we need to wait till tomorrow for more of those props to hit. Tyler will take a little time, look into everything. He does such a good job finding out, certain things that I'm just not aware of, like, oh, this team gives up the most yards against tight ends and stuff that I'm just not privy to. So Tyler's going to do his research for that, and we'll be back with the prop shows tomorrow. So even though it's Christmas Eve, we're not taking the day off. We're doing double duty. We'll be giving you all the information you need to find the winners this weekend. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It's always so much fun to host a show and hang out with you guys in the chat, and we appreciate all the support that you guys give us by liking the video and retweeting and sharing with your friends. So thank you, everybody. We will see you tomorrow. Run Pure.